lot of average dudes out here expecting this king treatment from us queens. A lot of guys out here, they are a 6 or 7 at best.
Welcome back to Unspoken. I'm Marcel.
I'm Tanya.
I'm Dawn.
And here we have real talk, unfiltered, unapologetic, on the record about things that are happening in the real world today. Each of us has picked out a topic or subject that caught our attention. And today we're going to unpack it together with a special guest. Today we have Melita Daly. How you doing, Melita?
Wonderful. How are you?
Great. I'm really appreciative.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I mean, it's a beautiful day. So, I'm gonna start with the first question because it's all on me, and it's about cancel culture, culture in general. And it's about cancel culture and accountability. So, when are we in society now holding people accountable versus overreaching?
Well, I think of all that I've been through and all that I need as far as like understanding, non-judgment because of my life, I feel like it's important to have grace. It's important to have accountability. And I think the cancel culture is like very overrated, and I feel like it doesn't hold people accountable. I feel like people are not being accountable publicly, or they're shying away from being accountable publicly because of this whole cancel culture. What do you think?
I've never been a fan of cancel culture. I just feel like specifically within the culture, it's a systematic way of taking our icons off the stage. And I really feel like, with us, it's up to us. If we want to cancel you, fine. But I don't like the external world coming in and telling us exactly who no longer belongs on that stage. I mean, these people contribute to our culture in a lot of different ways. They still are icons. Right. And I'm not really drilling down on their personal lives. People make mistakes. And I think to say, oh, now this person just wiped off the map, let's not buy their products or services or whatever they're doing. I just feel like that's a little too much. It's pretty heavy. And everybody deserves redemption. So I'm not going to speak to a specific celebrity or people or a person, but I truly feel like, when people set that bar so high that you're saying that somebody cannot come back, that's just a little too much.
Yeah. I don't think anyone has the right to cancel anyone.
Right. Nobody's perfect.
No one's perfect. Everyone has their skeletons in their closet. And who made you God and gave you the right to say, oh, I'm gonna tell everyone not to buy your stuff, not to support you, not to go out. Who are you? Right. And then it's like on social media, you get a group of people that get together and then come down on this one individual because they didn't agree with one thing that you did or said. I'm like, screw them.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
So who are you? And I agree with you. This society needs to learn to give people more grace.
Yep.
All of us have fallen short and done things that we regret. If you've lived any type of life, you know that you've done some shit that you ain't like, that was embarrassing. Okay. You done dated somebody that you want to hide, that you be lying, talking about, I ain't date him. Yes. I got one or two of them. Yes. You know y'all, I don't know him. I was in a whole full-fledged. But it's like we all have stuff that we've regretted. Right. Or even like in the case of like Kyrie Irving, it wasn't like something that he regretted. He stood on it. Like, this is what I believe. This is what I think. But people still wanted to cancel him for the things that he did. And then, of course, when you start getting into religion and how, certain groups feel like if you make a statement that may or may not be insulting, to some people it's insulting and to some people it isn't, then they just feel like because I don't agree with you, because I choose not to side with you, now I want the whole world to stop supporting you. I just think it's crazy. And
that is crazy because we all have a different context or a different belief system.
Period.
So my core values might be totally different from this person that the society, we're canceling this person. It may be something that I truly accept. It's not for you to say, what we should or should not do. And especially as an entrepreneur, I would hate to be in that position where my views dictate whether people support me or not support me. That's just crazy to expect everyone to follow one person. Like, what is the whole country, a cult? You know?
Yeah,
Right.
it's very cultish.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you do start looking at it like when you are an entrepreneur, to your point, your brand does, is represented by who you are, what you believe, what your values are. So you will not have some people support you based on what you believe. That's just what it is.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how you hold people accountable at the same time without canceling them, because some things you should be held accountable for.
I agree.
Like Kanye and his wife, what's her name? Bianca. Like, son, put on some clothes every once in a while. I get it. And I'm all for the art behind it all.
Yes.
But when you're around the kids and things like that, I think you should be a little bit more balanced. So she should be held accountable for some of that stuff. Like, there are instances where you're around his kids.
Right.
Yeah, but accountability means not supporting that action in, right? Like,
Not
you don't have to,
necessarily.
like, if it's a recording artist, you just don't buy their album. That's old school. Like, you just don't go out and support them. I don't really, again, I think it went over the line with me, like when they started trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. He's a comedian, right? Comedians don't have boundaries. They joke everybody.
Yeah.
So you can't really start saying, okay, well, they're off the limits.
Right.
They're like, you just taking away from the art. And I think that was my wall. I was like pissed about that, because I was just kind of like, now you're telling people what they can say. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Everybody has their own opinions. You could definitely insult somebody accidentally. Okay, it is what it is, but that doesn't mean you come with this mob mentality and it's like, let's take them off the board. I think, again, we all know what happened, especially those of us that have watched this whole internet age. This social media age has given people that opportunity to kind of just jump all on the same bandwagon and pull down hardworking people that, built these brands in their legacy over decades.
Yes.
And that's when I push back on it. I'm like, you just started out. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody reserves, some type of redemption. Everybody can have a comeback story. And again, my whole thing to close it out is I'm kind of like, yeah, like there are some people, I'm trying to stay away from names, but there are some people some people have really done some things that I'm just kind of like, yeah, that dude's off the board. Like
that's where the accountability
right,
comes
and that's what I'm saying.
So
He's being held accountable.
They should be held accountable. So in those instances, I'm not saying cancel Bianca Sensori, that's her name, right? I'm not saying cancel her and say, oh, I'm not going to buy Kanye's products because she dresses this way. But you want to say, I'm going to beat you because you did wrong. That's not what, but she should have to be held accountable for. Say it. You should not dress like that around his children. You should not, show up at the Grammys naked, or wherever she showed up.
On the internet. I feel like it's too accessible on the internet. Being hot, being naked, it's just too accessible on the internet. And I feel like, people that were meant to be busted and meant to be, average. I feel like, it's
Not
just
average,
it's not normal, whatever you want to call it. I just feel like there's so much going on the internet now where it's not becoming normal.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be normal, average, busted, like, all the, like, with I'm going on to another topic, but plastic surgeries, just everything is just becoming so normalized, like, as far as like being naked, being, hot, being cute, some people just ain't meant to be cute.
That does speak to like we're just being controlled by what's going on out there. That's go deeper into the accountability. Like, nobody speaks for me but me. So I definitely have to say what works for me and what doesn't work for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of what don't work for you.
The subject matter number 2.
Yeah.
Bring it, Dawn, because we know you have something
What
on your
doesn't work for
plate.
you?
I do have a little subject matter. So my topic is, he's a 10 or not.
Why is she looking at me, y'all? Like, I'm a 10. So she not talking
We
to me.
know that he thinks he's a 10.
I'm a 10.
But no, it's a lot of average dudes out here expecting this king treatment from us queens. A lot of guys out here, they are a 6 or 7 at best. And they feel like we're supposed, first of all, you're approaching a 10. You're approaching a and then you want them to treat you like you're a 10. So tell me, Melita, what do you think about that? Especially, and I would say this is probably more prominent over 45. When you're dating over 45, these men got gout. They got a bad knee.
Gout.
She is going hard, y'all.
That gout.
They got a bad knee.
Yes.
They sleep with a CPAP machine.
They do. I've been there, done that.
I'm just saying, you are a 7 at best, boo. And then you want to tell me, oh, you need to do this. And you got me straight tripping.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, think about it. When we're in our 40s, we can date the daddy or the son. They on us. So why pick the daddy when we can date the son?
Yes, yes. I agree. I agree. She is funny. I agree. I feel like dating over 45, 40, 50, whatever the case may be, is like shopping on a clearance rack. Like
Not clearance.
yes.
Not a clearance, right?
Not no show rack.
Boy, they dragging us. They dragging us
gotta
through
find
the
the
mud up
gem,
ahead.
the diamond in the rough. You got to find that one piece that it's hard to find. I really honestly feel like dating over 45 and to what you said, you're a 10 and you have these men that are 7s, 5s, 4s. It's a lot.
Maybe it speaks to the ratios that's going on out there. They feel empowered by
Let them
that.
know. Let them
Move
know.
them ratios.
Let them know.
I'm just
Let 'em
saying.
know.
Maybe they feel
Them
Let 'em know.
empowered by that.
I think it's a balance. I feel like when you're at a certain space in your life, you know what I mean? Like I've been divorced. I've been married most of my life, and you're in a certain space you don't expect or want less than, or your standards and your boundaries are different. So I personally feel like it's a lot. It's been a lot. It's been challenging, trying. It's been a lot.
Well,
but
I mean, I'll help you out there, Melita. I
yes.
think a lot of times they expect once you reach a certain age that you're supposed to compromise and settle.
That's
and you
good.
hear that word a lot. They say, oh, you're 45, you're 48. Just take what you can get. As if you don't bring a lot to the table. Think about it for a second. As women, there's so much we have to do. You know, men, they put on a black tee, some jeans or sweatpants and sneakers, and they out the door. You know, they take their little bald head. We getting hair,
Not the bald.
makeup, eyelashes, nails, waxing. We got the whole situation that we have to do only to present ourselves to someone who's subpar. That's crazy. And then to say that we should reduce ourselves down because of the ratios, as they say. But when you talk about the ratios, we should really talk about quality women
The quality,
versus
that's good.
quality men. Because there's a lot of women out here, but you, Marcel, you know they ain't shit.
I'm really
Quality.
just taking this all in. I mean, I'm not going to
give us your opinion.
I can't really elaborate on, because I think, I mean, from Dawn's perspective, though, the question is, what is she saying? Like, what's that standard there, right? I don't, what she considers to be a 7 to whoever could be a 10 to someone
true.
else.
That's true.
So it's, I
That is
think
true.
that right there kind of mixes the bowl. That's the first thing, right?
Yes.
Because where you are in your life, that's going to create your standard. That's one. Again, born here in the DMV, District, Maryland, Virginia, for you guys that are national. It's just what it is. It's just kind of like in Atlanta. It's going to be the ratio issue. It's going to be way more women than guys. I wouldn't want to be a female in that situation because it does lend to some of the things that you hear Dawn speaking to. Like, you're just going to have guys that are willing to take a shot because they already know that, listen, like, if I see it, whatever, we can say a 10 is whatever somebody's perspective is, but that guy sees a 10, he feels emboldened to take the shot because he has nothing to lose. First of all, like that's just what it is. Now, what you do with that shot, that's that person, that female's perspective. But I just think that when it comes to that issue in general, it's more really about just again where those two people are in life. And if your standard is whatever that standard is, and you can't find a guy that's going to meet that standard, and you feel like anything under that standard is basically you compromising or settling, then you have to be equipped mentally to be rolling solo. That's just the way this works. Because you already said it. You're like, I'm not going to go down. It's only up. And if up is the only option, then you have to, you have to deal with what you're saying, that you're diminishing that pool, right? And when you diminish that pool, you can't complain about what's left. And then to wrap this up, what's left, everybody's going after that, right? The visual basic stuff that we're talking about, keep it simple. We can go, he has to have a great job, height, nice car, all that bullshit fluff. At the end of the day, every woman sees that. So now you got that guy that you got to deal with that has his pick of the litter. So what you gonna do with that guy? Is that the guy you want that can have 5 women? So I mean, it's a mixed bag there. It's not as simple as the way that's kind of outlined to be. But again, to me, on the dating issue, on that issue particularly, it's to each his own. But I mean, the opening up, you're absolutely right. There are many guys that's taking a shot at the 10. What they have to lose? They have nothing to lose.
Which is why women have chosen, and I find that a lot of women are choosing to stay single.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like, it's peaceful.
It's peaceful.
Yeah. I mean, nobody ain't got time. And you just had 5 boyfriends.
A whole roster.
It's for
the starting lineup.
As soon as one say no, you call the next one.
That's what's changed, though.
It's all good.
You feel like that's changed?
Because
you seen that?
For me, I'm just entering the date scene, and I can really only date one person at a time. I can.
Really?
I mean, I know that a lot of people saying date them all, but I have to focus, and I need to know. I do have to focus. You know what I mean? And I do not feel like I am giving you a fair shot if I'm checking for Joe and checking for
that's great.
John, whomever.
Well, let me know how that work out for
honestly.
No, but I agree with Tanya.
But I do
Of course you do, Marcel.
Why is it? Of course I did. Damn, did you catch that? What's all that heat coming from that?
Why do you agree with Tanya?
Because she's right. You can't really sit there and say you're really trying to meet somebody if you're not giving them 100%. Like if I'm sitting there and I got 3 other women and I'm taking everybody out.
Y'all do.
No, but that's now she's on something totally different. I'm just addressing what Tanya's saying, which is agreed. If you really meet somebody and you think that they're worth your time, if you're not giving them 100%, then you're not going to get 100% back. Right. And like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you can't be giving somebody 50%. Because you have your other 50% spread between 3 people.
But I disagree.
It doesn't work that way.
And before you say that, I think the clear point is if she's talking about, I've met a person, I like them, I'm going to date them. Yes, it should be 1. But the crew, the roster, if you meet 5 dudes at Park, you haven't picked one yet. Date all 5.
I just can't do it. I
disagree. I disagree because even in marriage, you're not giving 100% in your marriage. Like I've been married for 15 years, been with him most of my life. You're not giving 100% in your marriage. You're giving. Sometimes you have 50, sometimes you got 80, sometimes you got 10, and hopefully he gives you that what you're lacking. However, in the dating pool, I just feel like for me, I've been engaged to 3 times, and every person that I would say proposed to me, I wasn't giving 100%. I was dating other people.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like I was being my full, genuine self in that moment with them. You know what I mean? But I was not giving 100% of me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was giving the happiest part of me, the happiest space that I was in when I was with that person. I was not.
I don't know. That's
and so that
is a good point, because she's saying that people look at giving 100% as the good stuff.
Yes.
But the 100% is all the stuff. And all y'all really want is the good part.
The good.
That's actually not true.
What would you like, Marcel?
I mean, Melita did say she was engaged 3 times. so what I'm saying is, she said she didn't give him 100%. So I mean, I mean, I don't think I've ever been in a relationship and I didn't give it 100%. And I was
No,
when I was married, I gave it 100%.
You feel like you gave it 100%?
Yeah.
Or was it at times that you gave it 100%?
I mean,
Nobody gives 100% at all times in their marriage.
longevity is going to wear you down. But I think that anybody that's been married, you should be giving it everything you could give it when you walk through the door every day, or it's not going to work out.
I agree. I felt like I gave my marriage of over 20 years 100%.
Yeah.
But the 100% changed.
Exactly.
Because if I was in a space where I was not 100% myself,
Right.
but I would still give you that 100%, but I might only be 50% Tanya today.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you 100% of my 50%. You know
That's
what I mean?
good. So that's what I mean.
No,
That's what
I am. I'm always going to give 100%. Whatever that is for me on that day. I just can't do it. And I feel like the last time I did do that, I was probably in my 20s, where I could date multiple people. Maybe it's an age thing. I just can't keep up with that many Negroes. I need to know that. I mean, I have gone out with somebody that it only lasted 6 months, and I gave them 100% for those 6 months. I didn't feel any type of way about walking away from the situation because it didn't work out.
Right.
And I didn't feel cheated out of giving my 100%. I did not at all, because I always know I'm going into it. This can go either way. You know what I'm saying? So
I think you're always going to have that one person that you're dealing with, that you're giving 100% to. You're going to have that one person, and then you're going to have your little sprinkles here.
She's true.
But
it's always going to be one dude in your life at all times that you like, oh, he the one that I'm going to drop everything for. I got one. So he called, what time? It's always one. And then the rest, it's like when I get around to you.
Yeah.
But we all got the one that we're going to give 100% to. So that's all I'm saying. But I just feel like when you're dating, it's an interview process. You don't interview one person when you hire for your business.
I don't.
You interview several people. And they should be trying to get the job of dating you seriously. But you got to remember, especially in this area, I feel like everywhere, God, it's not a lot of commitment. It's a lot of situationships. We just kind of kicking it.
That became normal.
You my dude, but you ain't my dude. It's so much of that.
I agree.
That it's not really, no one has clearly defined roles like you used to. You remember back in the 90s, y'all went out 3 times. He bought you a teddy bear and said, we go together.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you be like, oh, we cool, we together, but we not together.
But maybe also.
And there's a lot of that. You know, so if I'm going to be together and not together, I'm going to have 4 of y'all.
Yeah. Maybe that's
you only sleeping with one. Let's put that out there. Do not be sleeping around.
Right. Well, yeah, that's not good.
Not at all. You pick one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already at the one, but
You just got to pick one.
Also, that might have something to do with who I am. And this is my topic that I wanted to discuss. I have always considered myself an alpha female, and entering this dating world while dominant, just wonder how that's working out for you guys, because I know I'm dealing with a whole panel of all alpha females right here.
No, not me. I'm so not an alpha female.
I've been told alpha female. Well, I don't feel like I don't feel like I am. I feel like I try to find balance in that. I feel like that's important. I feel like being married, we've all been married for quite some time. So y'all have had to have balance with that in some way or another, right?
So I'll just say that I think that the term alpha female has a negative connotation attached to it, which it should not. Because it's really just saying that you're strong and independent, you're assertive. But people like to put the tag like controlling and negative. It does not necessarily mean that you're mean and nasty and negative. But a lot of times when people use that term, they automatically think mean, nasty, negative, and overly assertive. So I think that we should probably change that narrative. That it just means that we are powerful and smart and beautiful and confident. Because as women, it's a problem when we show our confidence too much.
Yeah.
When we stand on what we believe, what we want, and we expect people to treat us a particular way, we're always looked at as being over the top or too strong. Yeah, or bitch. Yeah. And it's like, it's okay to be an alpha female at work. But when you go home, that ain't what you need to be, boo.
I agree.
Yeah. So it just depends.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
For me, externally, I feel like I exude femininity at all times.
You do. I get
always
Yes.
like I am always soft in my appearance. But listen to me. Ooh, and I try to keep the femininity, up front at all times. But I really struggle with being challenged. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's one of those things that I felt like I was groomed into. I started my first business at 21. So sometimes when you're in charge, and some of this, like I say, I was groomed into it from family, from friends. I became the go-to for so many people. And then that role shifted where I was in charge of everything at home. Even I can remember being in my early 20s and being my parents' landlord. You know what I mean?
That makes
so
sense.
having to have that conversation with them, like, y'all not paying. So it shifts who you are as an individual. So I've been groomed to this literally since my early 20s.
That makes so much
I have not lost my femininity and my feminine exterior.
Yes.
But listen.
I feel like a man brings that out of you. It depends on the man. The right man will bring that feminine side out of you, because I can agree with everything that you said. From a young child, I've been working since I was 13, and I took care of my sister from a very young age. So I was in that mother role extremely early. Like when I say early, I mean 10. You know what I mean? Well, my mother worked 3 jobs at times. So I took on that mother role. I've bought my first house at 24, bought my second house at 28. And it was just, I've always had that alpha role, but I know how to be submissive. I love being a wife. Like, I absolutely love being a wife. I love being submissive, but I just think it takes the right man to bring that out of you. Yeah.
Marcel,
What do you think?
Again, when this issue has come up in my past, first of all, I've never successfully dated an alpha female for a lot of different reasons. I don't like the term, though. I'm agreeing with Dawn. It just projects this negative connotation, specifically to guys that just aren't on that level. They're going to be intimidated when that title comes out. But I always try to use the analogy of a plane, right? When you're boarding the plane, you have the pilot and the co-pilot. That's the way it works. And I think in relationships, when you're dealing with an alpha male, right, the co-pilot has to be able to go, yeah, I'm gonna let the pilot fly the plane. I think that's where the conflict comes in with those two types of personalities, because alpha females, for instance, let me give you a perfect example. Dawn sent me the one sheet, right, for the show. She sent it to me yesterday, and I was like, cool. I walk into, we about to have pre-production stuff. She walks up to me, and she had her one sheet out on her phone, and before I could say a word, she's like, I sent it to you yesterday. I didn't read it or something. Like, she automatically jumped into mama bear mode. I sent this to you yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I know you sent it. Can I get it out of my phone?
Interpreted it that way.
When it's like when you're around alpha females, the one women, first of all, me in general, I think again it comes down to personality. That's the first thing, right? Like a true male that's comfortable in his skin and then running his whole show, he doesn't have to flex. It's no flex there. At the same time, you really want somebody in your life that's cool enough with letting you fly the plane. But here's the caveat. And this is what I've learned over the years, and this is what I advocate for. The guy needs to show that he can fly the plane, right?
Yes.
Like if he doesn't have any damn commercial experience, I don't think I'm getting on the plane either, right? Like I'm going to automatically want to pilot the plane because he hasn't shown me or demonstrated the ability to fly. And that's the problem, I think, women that are accomplished, smart, successful, they run into these guys that they would love to let them fly, but my God not showing me the capabilities of flying. And no person on the planet is going to get on that plane and let him fly because he's not showing me that he can do it and do it well. That's just common sense. So that's where you have that gap and that problem where you can't expect, they want a guy, you have to show up and you have to be running your show and then it'll fall in line. But you can't be at some deficit and then you want to take over. Like, how does that work? Like, I wouldn't do that. I mean, who would let you take over if you're not showing the capability of being able to take over? So I think that's where the conflict comes in. I don't think it's in the person, but I mean, again, if I flipped it, I would also be kind of like looking at people sideways too, if, you know, they just can't handle what I'm bringing to the table. So again, those personalities though, I love it. I mean, again, I was more than pissed off when Kamala lost. I'm bringing that up because they shown you had a strong, educated, smart person that was more than capable. She's one off from the presidency. She's one off, and she's running against a clown. He's talking about guys and all this up on stage. He's not even a serious candidate, and she loses tremendously. I was pissed about that because women just don't get their say and their love in our society. It's just a segment of our population that just wants to push y'all back. And that's not okay. I mean, I'm just never going to
But most women did not vote for, a lot of women did not vote for her. Black women, white women.
Right.
You feel me?
A lot of women did not vote for her.
And I don't even understand that.
I do. Men are always trying to silence us. Because just think about what Marcel just said. He got offended because I said, hey, I sent you this yesterday. Did you see it?
That's how she said it. Like, did you see it, dummy? Like, I'm like, yeah, bro, I did see it. So she's not pretending that right.
It's perspective. Like anything that you say, it's like taken in this negative connotation, almost like you should just stay silent and wait for them to come to you with it. And I just think that's just probably. That's a lot. They wanted to silence Kanye.
I think a lot of society, women as well, are intimidated by alpha females.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they're not ready.
And as I said, like maybe some of the environments we grew up in, we were groomed into this.
Yeah.
Whereas most of Middle America or most of the others that we're speaking of, they have the opportunity to stay in their femininity. They know what their life is going to be already. They already know that Chip is going to inherit the home in the Hamptons, and we'll get married at 23, and we'll move up there to our summer. They already know that. Their life is already planned out for them. Whereas my life would not be happening if I did not make it happen for myself.
And we have to continuously be in motion. Because as soon as we stop, like we can't even stop now. You know, we're still moving. And you can't wait, especially now that, you know, all four of us are divorced. And it's like, you can't just stop. It's not nobody sitting there waiting to take care of us. You know, so it's this balance there where you're supposed to be super feminine, but you also have to be somewhat of an alpha in order to make sure that your kids don't have to take care of you, you know, completely on your own. So it's like a balance. And guys come into your life and they're like, oh, you work too much or you doing too much. Like, what you want me to do?
Yeah, we don't need that. I feel like at this stage and age, I feel like women don't need I feel like men are so used to buying and showering you with gifts. Like, I feel like we don't need that. I'm more about the peace. I'm more about the homie lover friend aspect. I don't need the money, you know what I mean? Because I like me being single now, I make as much as I made when I was married with both of our incomes together. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother topic. But for me, it's not about the accolades and the money. It's about the peace and how we're gonna build together. You know what I mean? I want to ask a question for you since you're the only man here. Like, what is it that you feel like a woman, not a woman, but a man needs or wants in their 50s, 40s established? Like, what do you feel like a man?
I mean, we aspire for the same thing, just peace of mind. I think the level that you guys are describing, though, you have to reach that first. And that's the thing. That's why it's rare air. Like, all of us on the same page because we already know the money thing isn't the real thing. It's no matter how much I've achieved, that shit doesn't make me happy.
Right.
But you can only understand that when you achieve it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
so true.
and then so everybody else that has it that's not on that playing field, they're still aspiring to the bullshit that we already know about. I gotta have a nice car. I gotta drive this. So you got guys trying to just get in that lane when, like you said, when you're older specifically, that's what makes dating at an older age harder because we're more established.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have any time for practice. I don't have any time for potential. That's that. I love people that's go forward. I'll help wherever I can, but I'm not bringing anybody along anymore. Right? Anybody I meet, we need to be on that same playing field, that same level. And a lot of it is around what you said. We just want peace, chill. I want to run my show, do my thing, be able to talk to you about anything on the planet, go travel, just enjoy this next level of life, which is aspiring to do everything, see all 7 continents. But again, it's only a certain type of person. Any guy that's not in that mindset, then they're going to be intimidated by you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not where you are. That's just the bottom line. And it creates a bad paradigm because then if they're in that situation, then they're trying to prove that they are man.
right.
You know, and then that's going to turn y'all off because
is
you're
so
like, I
true.
don't even need all this, right? I just want to love you for who you are. But this guy now trying to, I got to run the show. Because, now, you my girl. And you kind of like, bro, you like this.
You finally said
Stay
something.
in your lane. Stay in your lane and let
That
me
is
do
so
my thing.
true. It's a lot of insecure people out here.
Yeah.
Especially at our age.
I mean, so many.
so many.
Yeah, they are.
I guess we bring a lot of beat down.
You think?
Once we get to this age, I mean, all of the experiences that we've had over the
A
years,
life full of
you really gotta shake it off and
Yeah.
keep moving.
Yes.
I mean, I think we've all achieved that muscle through entrepreneurship because you constantly have to shake it off
Constantly.
and get
And
back
keep it
out
moving.
there.
Right.
Yes.
And I think it helps a lot when you are dating in this age because, as I said, I can hang out for 6 months and be like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? And I can shake it off and move. But at that time, I'm giving you that 100%. But I realize that we may have different goals for where we're trying to go in life.
And to add to that, and I think that's definitely a differentiator. Entrepreneurs, we're just built differently.
Yeah.
Because we just face a lot, we deal with a lot, and we're problem solvers, and we're like moving ahead. I don't have any time somebody complaining about some bullshit, there's some small nonsense that I'm not even thinking about anymore. Like, did we get past it and move on?
Yeah.
Like, we just look forward. We're not stuck in the past and we don't get,
That's so true.
and I think that type of personality, a lot of people just don't get how we are.
I
So
agree.
that just adds that extra nuance just to trying to understand how we are because we're just risk takers, we're bold, we're pushing forward, we're like, today I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just cool with the whole, my little picket fence, got my little,
Right.
I don't want to bother anybody, just show up to work on time. Like, it's just a different mentality.
Yeah.
So you're not going, that match point isn't there. So yeah, it's a lot to navigate, but I got a lot of empathy for the whole alpha and female thing. Again, I think that needs to be taken off the table, that title, and let's just like move away from that. But it is harder for established female to meet the right type of guy in this environment. Is this a case closed? And the question is, now you guys have that option. It's like, well, how am I going to live my life under these circumstances? Because guys go through the same thing, right? And it's kind of like I come to a place where, I'm not going to settle, so I'm going to do all, and that's another thing entrepreneurs do, right? If I'm like, all right, look, the dating thing is what it is, but I just haven't met the right person, but I'm always going to put myself out there to make sure I'm in a good space. I'm going to focus on all the other things that I do, though. All my other companies, my businesses, my relationships, my friends, my family, my kids, they're going to get all my energy, right? And that situation just going to sit there and do what it does until the right person comes along. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
That's the way to be.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it feels like that's the end of this show. I really appreciate Ms. Melita Daly coming out to kind of hang with us. You've been a
Thanks
great
for
guest.
having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, so Dawn, Tanya, Dawn.
Tanya.
Dawn, do you guys have anything you want to share with the audience? Anything you want to push out there, promote?
I mean, as I spoke about in my intro, I am looking to help the next group of beauty entrepreneurs. So right now I'm promoting my 6-figure stylist, the Blueprint Edition, helping every stylist become a 6-figure earner because it's very obtainable in today's society. And they just have to follow some simple steps to do it. So if they get my 6-figure book, they will they will be earning six figures right away.
And you all could just feel free to follow me on social media at I am the Dawn, and I will show you how to increase your net worth through real estate.
You can follow me at Jazzadora Creations on Instagram and Facebook, and visit all of my art and creativity and some more things soon to come.
And I guess I didn't give my at. My at is at The Real Hair Icon. Also follow my current salon, McKenna Jordan Salon.
And I'm Marcel Clarke. Just follow me on IG, Marcel Clarke _, or go to my website, marcelclarke.co. I didn't get the .com, people, but I got the .co. Buy my book, Hiding in Plain View. I guarantee you it's going to be worth the read. And I appreciate you.